Hello, everybody. My name is Destiny, and today I would like to present our iStronG presentation. In iStronG, we learned a lot about how to reduce CO2 emissions through health and education, and we had an awesome teacher, Divya, so I'm just going to present it to you guys today. So, if you didn't know, there's 910 gigatons of CO2 that's released into the atmosphere by us, which is a lot. And if you didn't know, 1 gigaton is equivalent to removing all 211 million cars from the road a year, the average annual emissions of 100 million US homes, the weight of 100 million elephants, and 6 million blue whales. Let's calculate that for a minute, do some math. So 1 gigaton is equal to 6 million blue whales, and 910 gigatons is equal to 460 blue whales.
5.46 billion.
5.46 billion. So we had to choose from 9 drawdown sectors. So we chose health and education because we're all students and we feel like we could overlay and add some of our own opinions in that secting. So there are 85.42 gigatons of CO2, and that's responsible for 9.4% of the total CO2 emissions. So we really want to reduce 24 tons a year. And in conclusion, this is a very little change, but you know, we all start somewhere. So our goal is to reduce carbon emissions overall. So the amount that we really want to reduce is 10,000 pounds of carbon from the atmosphere. 1 year equals 24 tons of CO2 reduction, and 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. And our time frame is 10 weeks, and our medium is health and education. So on a multi-solving approach, on an individual level, we want you guys to think about what changes can you make to make a difference? And on a community level, what changes can the school make to make a difference? And what changes can your local neighborhoods make? And on a state level, what laws can be implemented to make the change in the state? And on a world level, how can we help other people? And what can big organizations that work with multiple countries do to make a change? So looking more into level 1 on an individual level, changes can simply be less wood burning, less smoking, use public transportation more, eating less meat, drink more water, having discussions about carbon emissions with your friends and family. Those will all help a lot. So now, which one would you rather eat? I know that I would rather eat Brazil. That looks like it has a whole bunch of nutritious foods that we actually need for our body. The USA, it just looks so nasty. I don't know what that is. Mozzarella sticks, the plating is horrible. Gordon Ramsay would not approve of that. I don't know what that is, but I know that I would rather eat Brazil. And make sure that you think about what you would rather eat. So looking in on a level 2 community level, we really want school cafeteria lunch to provide healthy food for everybody, and all schools need equal access to food because in the suburbs, they tend to have better options. So we really want everyone across the nation to have the same opportunities and same options for food. And also, we want the school board and principal to ensure that these laws are passed. And you may wonder, how does this help reduce CO2? Well, less packaged food equals less factory-made food. So basically, you guys know that factories produce smoke into the air, which isn't good. And our whole thing about this is we want to reduce CO2, not add to it. So we also want Earth Day cleanups. Currently, Earth Day is only once a year in April. So we want to use this to have a monthly community cleanup. And we want carpools and ride shares. I'm not talking about Uber or Lyft. Nope, I'm talking about you getting in a car with your family, friends, and all driving somewhere like to school or to outings or to sports practice, whatever the case might be. And We want to add workshops for adults about small changes that they can make, and we want this to occur every 3 months. And we also want schools to have workshops that are mandatory about health and that are mandatory every semester in health classes. So looking in on a level 3, state level, we want the states to mandate laws, implementation and regulation and annual audits. We want them to allocate budget for healthy food. Food is severely subsidized for free students in kindergarten to 12th grade. So this is a plate guideline. I know you guys probably have seen this in schools, nurses' office, hospitals, whatever the case might be, but this is a very important thing that I feel like people really tend to ignore. This is very important. We need to have fruits, grains, vegetables, protein, and dairy. So if the state and schools work together, obesity rates would reduce, CO2 reduction in the atmosphere, more brain power, overall happiness of the students increase, overall depression decrease, sugar addiction lowers, and still healthier habits that can be carried through life. So, uniform technology, we want, solar panels are good and they're really cost effective. Paper books instead of ebook. We want ebooks instead of paper books. We want to use online text editors instead of printed worksheets. And projections are probably a very, very good choice instead of passing out paper. You can put it on the board and then use iPads to take notes, fill out notes, formative, Nearpod, which we have used. So you have my word, it is a very, very good thing to use. In pollution reduction, air monitoring, clean the air. So level 4 on a world level. This is the final level. And, reach out to other countries and help them reduce their carbon emissions. And second and third world countries, populations will increase to over 9 billion by 2050, 30 years away. 2 billion increase from 2020. And you may ask, where are these growths happening? Well, in rural areas, families tend to have kids in wealthy cities in developing nations. Solution is education. Build schools in rural communities, trade, skills, simple but rigorous curriculum. Architects live there full-time and give donations. Prioritize learning the other country's culture and way of life. Build habits and a new system centralized around the country's priorities and culture. Building sustainability for long-term change. So we really want you guys to focus on maintenance, small changes that are easy to manage for all people and organizations. And right here we have the STELLA model, and we made some inflows and outflows. So as you can see on the left side, those are the inflows, and the outflows is the CO2 emissions. And that's our whole goal, is to reduce them through health and education. So to close out, so the question is, what type of impact will this make? Making these changes should reduce CO2 by more than 24 tons a year. These changes encompass 1 drawdown solution. 9 drawdown solutions is if we make a plan for each drawdown solution, which we can reduce the amount of CO2 even quicker in the atmosphere. Healthier and happier and smarter people. And I know that you all really, really want that. We don't want any more CO2 going up in the air and harming us. So I want to say thank you so much for listening to our presentation. We put a lot of work into this. So yeah, thank you so much for listening.